Hey, what's going on? My name is Justin. We're here to talk about the Star Wars Pinball from Arcade1up and Zen Studios. So I wanted to do just a live stream, just a first impression where I'd talk about it and to show a little bit of game footage. And I wanted to answer any questions that I might be able to answer. So I want to let you know that this is a unit that I did buy. Here's GameStop. This is my order. I thought we'd talk about that real quick. It kind of sucks that a lot of people bought this and they don't have it yet. I mean, look at my order. It still says it's in progress, but I've totally received it. There is the date that I ordered it, November 6th. I think that is around the time that it became available. Why do I have it? It before other people. Some people have speculated that this might be accurate. So their GameStop has a distribution center like in Minnesota, and I live in Iowa. And so it just might be close proximity. So the shipping was a little bit quicker. In no way am I doing this live stream to rub it in that I got one before anybody else. I'm hoping everyone will get their order very, very soon. So far, I've been playing with it. Yesterday, we assembled it. I'll kind of talk a little bit about that and talk about the initial gameplay, what I think about it. And then I'd love to answer any questions. So it's kind of an interesting thing. I looked back at my emails, and it looks like I did receive an email that the payment was being charged, and it got charged 2 days before it actually arrived. I did receive an email. Yeah, thanks Stringer Films. He's like, hurry up, cancel that puppy. So my credit card's been charged, and it was charged already, right? And then but I didn't receive a notification that it was shipping, and I didn't receive a tracking number. And I read some people in the forum groups, like on Facebook, where they know exactly theirs is coming at the end of the month. Maybe that's because of a tracking number, but that's the situation I was in. It just to me, it just showed up without any notice, with very little notice. I received an email that was like, "Oh, we're going to charge you soon," but I still figured it was weeks off. So I was in the middle of work on a Zoom call in the middle of a meeting. And all of a sudden, my dog's barking, and my wife and my daughter jumping up and down. They're by the door, and I'm like, "What is going on?" And all of a sudden, my office is right near the front door, and it has I can see through it. It's like French doors, and I see all of a sudden this gigantic box come in. This thing is really big, so they roll it in, and they describe the story about the FedEx guy. I think it's FedEx or UPS, whoever delivered it. This thing's 96 pounds. I guess he was carrying it on his shoulder, because I was asking my wife, I guess I'm going to bring it down in the basement. Should I just put it down there? Do we need to do this together? She's like, "Oh, you could do it totally." The UPS guy, put it on his shoulder, and I'm like, no, look at it. It says 96 pounds. She says, "It's not 96 pounds. So we kind of flip it over, and we look on the other side, and everything says it's super heavy. So, and it's a big thing, right? So maybe you can lift 96 pounds, but I wasn't going to go for it. Luckily, I just recently bought a full-size arcade, and I went to Menards, save big money at Menards, right? And I got a dolly, and mainly it's like a big refrigerator dolly. I got that basically for my large arcade, but I'm glad I did, because I used the dolly on the Arcade1up Star Wars Pinball to get it down in my basement step by step. And with the dolly, it was no problem. And then we took it out of the box, and the box, everything was packed very well. My unit, flawless. Ralph, I was on the live stream with Ralph unboxing, and it looked like his was he received that for free from Arcade1up, and that was shipped directly from Hong Kong. And it kind of looked like it had damage, like a forklift damage. And that was with Ralph's unit, but mine, pristine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And in fact, one thing I want to jump to really cool, that's really, really cool. There is absolutely zero scratches or any buff marks at all on the actual plexiglass. And so far that when I first started playing, I was like, is this glass? Is it different? I'm tapping it, and it actually feels like the same plexiglass material. I think maybe it's a higher quality, or just they've made their process better. But if you have any Arcade1up cabinets, one of the things that I complain about is that the plexiglass, there's always there's always some compromise. There's always like, oh, it's not too bad once you turn on the game, like it's completely fine, but it's almost like you got to wipe it down. This, except for a couple little styrofoam pebbles, because it was packed. Once I kind of, because they were kind of magnetized, how that is, you got to brush them off. I didn't have to wipe this thing down at all. So my initial impressions, I have my daughter here. I got her on a cam here. She's playing it right now. I'm going to bring her into the stream. Thought we would do this. I'll go ahead and mute. I'm going to mute you for a little bit, Evelyn, so we can't hear you, but we'll bring you on. You can talk a little bit. You can play in the background. So when I first got this unit, wait, what is going on? Ralph's calling me, but I don't have my phone with me. If I answer the phone, like Evelyn's, hold on, Ralph, you're live. What's going on? But you're on my watch. What? I'm live streaming right now. You're on the air. What's going on, Ralph?
What were you talking about in that audio file you left me? Where you're like, I know
dude,
why the Star Wars Plexiglass is so. What are you talking about?
I'm hanging up on you. I'm live streaming right now. Everyone can hear everything you're saying.
No, but I don't understand. I'm trying to decode your cryptic message on my phone. What were you talking about?
Okay, so what's going on is Ralph, I messaged him because I was thinking about it, and I was like, I think maybe they put glass on the Star Wars Pinball. I went to check out it. I don't think it's glass, but what I got excited about is how pristine, how the plexiglass has 0 buff marks on it. It looks like perfect. That's all I was talking about. I don't think it's glass. It's just...
No, it's not glass, but did you just touch it to know it's not glass?
Yeah, I kind of pushed on it, and when I pushed on it, it kind of flexed, so I don't think it's glass. Maybe it's higher quality. I don't know. I'm going to let you go because I can't raise my arm here forever, okay? See you, man. No. Yeah, I hung up on him. Okay, so check this out. Let's see. We got a couple super chats. I'm gonna go through them really quick. I'm gonna answer some of the things in the stream. I still kind of want to tell you what's going on. So Stringer Film says, "Hurry up, cancel that puppy." That was a joke about the GameStop. Let's see. Ralph's calling me back, dude. My daughter's using my phone for this. Come on, why you always want to be on the show? What's going on? I said I gotta go. I'm in the middle of the stream, dude. Like, I have a story I want to tell, and my plan is to...
Can I join? Is it StreamYard?
Yeah, join in StreamYard.
No, I can't. I'm in the car. I can't anyway.
Okay, all right. Let me talk to you later, right? I gotta entertain people, okay?
All right, tell them how you think Plexiglass is glass. They're gonna love it. All right.
All right, see you, man. All right, so check this out. Let me just get through this really quick, and I'm going to focus on the chat. Thank you for the super chat. It says, "You're the best, Console Kits." Huge thank you to Ralph for all the great videos. Really appreciate the donation. And so here's the thing. So I get it. We assemble it. I got to tell you, the most important thing, number one, and I think Ralph said this as well, and I forgot, then I remembered. I was like, maybe you guys know this already, but I fully experienced it. You have to plan. You have to think about where this is going in your house. If it arrives at your doorstep, it's your job to get it from the doorstep to wherever it's going. And this is heavy. It's really heavy. Okay, so there's that. It's big, right? Like, but once you unpack it, it's packed really well in the sense that, like, right when you open it, right in the front, there's like styrofoam. You remove that, and it's the back glass, right? All you have to do is remove that box. It's kind of like the box of the riser. You need to assemble that, and it's about the same level of effort for assembling the riser. It's a few more parts, but if you can assemble the riser, the back box is easy, right? You put that together, no big deal. I did find one little trick that as I was doing it, when you put in the light up marquee, the actual like artwork, when you insert that in, Ralph was talking about it too. It took him forever to like get it all lined up. What I found is don't worry about it. Just plug it in. And then once you get the other side on, you screw everything in. It's not going to fit, right? Just unscrew everything and kind of make things loose. And then you just kind of jiggle it around and everything will come together. And then you screw it in. It takes like 2 seconds if you kind of know ahead of time that you kind of want to loosen the screws to get everything perfectly adjusted. And then everything's great. Putting on the legs took a long time. There was like 3 screws on every single leg. And it seemed like there's always this like, oh, I can't exactly get the leg and the screws to kind of like line up. We did the first one. It was like no big deal. And then the other 3, it just kind of took a while to get it all lined up. But like, if for some reason you can put the legs on in like easy peasy, like super easy, this whole assembly can go together in like 20 minutes, because you do not need to assemble everything, the main play field, the monitor, none of that. That's all one part. So really there's basically like 3 things in the box: the back box that you need to build, the main unit, and the legs. You put that all together, you're done. You turn the thing on, and some people, a lot of the questions I've been seeing in the chat is, what do you think about the size? Because, you know, there's a 24, this is a 24 inch. AtGames has like a 32 inch, and there's rumors that maybe Arcade1up will do a 32 inch. So when I first got the unit and I stood in front of it, I was like, wow, this height is great. Like, just fantastic. Started playing it. My daughter was playing it. She's 12, shorter, and I'm, you know, taller. I'm like 5'10". I'm not exactly sure her height right now. But like, it worked perfect. Like, it's super comfortable, right? For the size of the screen, I'm cool with it. And I asked my daughter, I'm going to bring her in. Hey, Evelyn, do you remember when I asked you about the screen size?
Yeah.
And just go ahead and tell everyone what you thought about the screen size. Remember, I said, would you rather have a 32-inch screen? What did you say?
Well, it would be cool to have a bigger one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's really weird. We're having this discussion, and I was like, isn't the screen, like, everything about it just great? And she's like, well, the 32-inch would be cooler. So there you have it. For me, I'm like, this is great. It looks way better than I thought it was going to look. I don't know if I have some videos. If you look very closely on the actual flippers themselves, just the flippers, there's kind of these like jaggedy edges that maybe if it was 1080, 100%, maybe that would go away. Or maybe that's just the way the art works. I'm not really sure. That's like the only, when I actually look at everything else, the text and the font and the animations, all of it looks great. And for me, I know the 24-inch, if you go to 32-inch, it's going to extend the length of it. And the room that we have, like this is a great size. I don't have any plans to get a 32-inch version if they ever come out with a 32-inch version. But Evelyn, maybe she could convince me if that happened. I don't know. Seems like she would be on board. But I don't know, Evelyn, do you think it's not good because it's only 24-inch?
No, it's fine. I just, if they come out with a bigger one, I would want it.
Okay. All right. So maybe, Evelyn, you can tell me, do you like Star Wars?
Huh?
Do you like Star Wars?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, Evelyn's a big Star Wars fan. We watched those movies together. I don't know. She's like 6 years old. She really likes the prequel. She likes like Clone Wars and the Rebels, the cartoons that expand the story, right? And so you've been playing the Star Wars Pinball. You played it maybe an hour yesterday, I want to say, and then just a little bit now. What's your first impressions?
It's pretty good. So far, Empire Strikes Back is my favorite, but I haven't played that much.
Now, I got to ask you, Evelyn, because people in the chat are probably gonna ask this. Did we practice the conversation for this show or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay, this is genuine, guys. So this is like literally like, what was it, like 30 minutes ago? You were eating dessert, and I said, "Hey, do you want to play pinball while I do a live stream?" And you're like, "Sure." And then remember we had a conversation. I said, "Do you mind if I ask you questions?" And you're like, "What are the questions?" And I said, anything from, you know, what do you think about it? Or, you know, do you like Star Wars? And you're like, "Sure, that's fine." No prep, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to see if there's anyone in the chat that wants to know the opinion of a 12-year-old Star Wars fan. Is that leading, Mike? Am I leading? I was leading. I hope I'm not leading. I'm trying to make this genuine as possible. Okay. So you said the game that you really like was Empire Strikes Back, right?
Yeah.
How many other games have you played so far?
Well,
I
played a little bit of Force Awakens. Well, I'm playing Force Awakens right now. I played a little bit of Rebels. I played New Hope. But I'm just saying, so far, Empire is my favorite.
Yeah, that I did play that one too. That one seemed a lot of fun. All right, so let me see. I'm going to try to figure out a way to not lead the witness at all. Tell me what you hate about it. I don't know. Does that help?
I don't know.
Maybe just tell me about your experience yesterday when you were playing. You're playing it and you're starting to feel it. What was it about it that you liked or disliked, or just tell us all about it?
Well, I haven't. It reminded me of like a Star Wars pinball game I had played before. It was Phantom Menace. This one does not have Phantom Menace. I kind of wish it did, because the Phantom Menace one was really fun.
Yep.
But it was really good.
Cool. So here's a question for you. You haven't played a lot of pinball, but like you said, you played the Phantom Menace, and that was a real pinball machine, right?
Yeah, it was.
So the question is, does it feel real?
Well, yeah, it kind of does.
Kind of does. So maybe you can elaborate on that. Do you just maybe you can talk about different parts about the unit itself that you like, and tell us about anything that you dislike.
Well, I haven't used it much, but I like how you can just look and see how to do stuff.
You're talking about like the table guide?
The table guide.
Yeah. Now remember, you got excited yesterday about something because you hit the high score.
Oh yeah,
Evelyn, you want to turn up the music a little bit? Turn up the sound.
All right.
I think people want to hear that. There you go.
Turn it down a bit.
Okay. So, other questions are, what would you do to improve the unit?
I don't really know. It's already pretty good.
That's cool. And then I want to tell the story, right? Like yesterday you were playing Empire Strikes Back and you got to these different levels. And as you got to the different scenes, you got excited, and then you got a high score, and you kind of were like jumping up and down. And that showed me something really cool, that like we can go back and forth and try to beat each other's score, and that's a lot of fun. I love how they make these games, like the high score is very centered. It's like when you launch the main page, you see it right there. If you pause it, you can see the score.
Yeah.
Some people are asking about the viewing angles. Remember we talked about the original Arcade1up? Sometimes you would look at them from the side and they would look ghosty. Can you see if the screen has any ghosty white look on it, or does it look good?
It looks fine to me.
All right, why don't you go ahead and play for a while, and then I'm gonna try to answer some of the questions here. Not to put you on the spot the whole time, okay? All right, guys. So let's see. So someone asked, Douglas Butler says, "Is the nudge good?" I haven't played with it too much. I watched Retro Ralph play with the nudge a lot, and we did a lot of off YouTube testing, and it seemed pretty good. One thing that I noticed, I was surprised by how responsive it is. I was expecting there to be some lag. and I'm sure it's measurable. And I plan on trying to document that, like down to the exact frame, how much lag there is between the 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 button being activated and you seeing any movement on the screen that was triggered by your button press. So when I first started playing with it, the unit was off, and I tried the buttons, and I was like, oh, these are the same exact buttons that they've installed on all of the cabinets that are more recent. So they don't really have a strong micro switch. It's not very clicky. So I thought to myself, oh, that's poor quality. But when I was actually playing the unit itself, I didn't notice it. Like, I was just playing it and enjoying it and having a lot of fun. I really like it. And then I was thinking about it later. I was like, am I just being picky about the buttons? And part of me honestly wants to like maybe swap out the buttons and try to see if one with a micro switch would it be better. But I'm wondering if in gameplay it maybe it doesn't really matter. I don't really know. I'm gonna try it out. I did test, and you may know this, there is absolutely travel on these buttons. And so you can tell if you push the button down slowly and kind of figure out where, at what point the button's actually being triggered. And so there is some movement. So if you were to measure the moment your hand touches, like if you imagine you had slow motion, right? I'm going to switch the screen so you can see me a little bigger. Imagine there's slow motion. I don't have a button with me, but imagine this guitar pick is a button. And if you were to measure the moment you touch it versus going in and it activates, there would maybe be lag because you're measuring the moment you touch the outside to the switch actually being activated, and there's a little bit of space there. But if you were to measure it the moment the connector like connects, the ground loop connects, like if it's got to be within, it's like 1, 2, or 3 frames of lag, and I'm referring to 60 frames per second, right? Every frame is 16 milliseconds around there. The screen's probably got 14 milliseconds response time on it. There is lag. Inherently in all digital screens, there is lag. But this game was also created for digital screens. So this is not like an old school game. So the game probably has a level of compensation, a window of opportunity that, like, it's smoke and mirrors for lag. Old Android devices, that level of intent. And then, but it's severely low. It's probably like if you're playing a Nintendo game, you can feel lag from an emulator or from a really bad upscaler at about 3 or 4 frames of lag. So that's, I don't know, 40, 60 milliseconds or something. So it's 30, 40, 50, 60 milliseconds, and it'll affect your gameplay because it took 2 or 3 cycles of button pulls for it to actually recognize that you did press that button. That's enough lag for, like, it's now difficult to beat Mike Tyson and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out because that game, it's frame or a frame or 2 accuracy on those really hard levels. So, see, I'm describing Punch-Out, a game that has frame accuracy, but this is Star Wars Pinball by Zen that probably doesn't have that frame accuracy. So it's low. It's super low, whatever it is. And I was surprised at how responsive it is. I was tapping it. The flipper just feels instant. And in my head, I know there must be some lag because of the technology. But again, it's not any amount that causes me to change the way I would play otherwise. That being said, I am not an expert at pinball games. I didn't play tons and tons of pinball games. So there's probably some pinball experts that might have the level of accuracy and granularity that would perhaps, disagree with me. But from my background in playing retro games on modern devices and testing every, sort of emulation that's out there, including, NES RGB, Sega RGB mods on a lagless display, CRTs, this feels surprisingly really good. So that's right. 12-year-olds love lag discussions. That's right. That's why I muted her during this time. So
there's no lag.
there's no lag. Yeah. So yeah, Evelyn kind of knows about lag because we've played some games that are laggy, and there's other systems that are a lot better. And this seems to be a pretty good unit. So overall, I'm really liking it. I'm not regretting purchasing it. It does stink that it took a really, really long time. And those of you that have a pre-order and you're waiting for that order to be fulfilled, I think you're going to be really excited about this. I think you're going to, every situation is different. When we buy these units, there's a small percentage of people that have quality issues where something came cracked or something like that. I hope you don't have that situation. But assuming that everything comes together, I think you're going to assemble it. You're going to put it together. You're going to start playing these games, and you're going to go, this is really cool. And now part of me loves this also because it is Star Wars. And the moment you turn it on, I mean, it's all Star Wars. If you've played these games before, I haven't. That's another thing I want to mention, that my daughter and I have never played these pinball games before. And so I was made aware of these pinball games for, a couple years. And then last year I was like, especially when Arcade1up Pinball was coming out and they were going to partner with Zen, I was like tempted to go buy these games like on Switch or Steam, but I never did because I was kind of like, I was going to save it for this day, these last few days, this moment. And I'm glad I did because I'm not disappointed. So our first experience is like on this unit, and we're having a lot of fun. And Evelyn said something really exciting yesterday. Remember what you were saying? You said, I can't wait for playing this unit. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You want to tell us that?
I really wanted to play it because it's Star Wars and it's pinball.
Yeah, but remember we were talking about like family coming over?
Oh yeah. I feel like once everyone, like, you're able to have a party, this would be a great party game.
Yeah, that's true. So Zohar
everyone
says,
taking turns.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's multiplayer, right? Like, it looks like you could pick like 4 players and we all take turns on the same game, kind of battle it out. So Zohar says, is the glass resistance to punches in case of anger? Hey, Evelyn, do you remember playing, what did we play? We played Mario Kart with Zohar. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That was fun, right?
I won.
You did win. He's asking if you can test the glass, but I don't know. I don't know how you would test it. Like, there you go. Does it seem good?
It seems good.
All right. Thanks.
Oops.
Thanks for the donations, Zohar. I appreciate it. Anyone, so the chat was going by. If you guys have any questions, just put a question mark at the beginning of your question. I will keep an eye out for those questions. While those come in, I'm going to scroll up to see if there's anything else. Some of the chat is just people having communications. Let's see. So Mandy did ask, what are the different game tables in this? So what does it have? It's got, let me, I don't have all the games memorized.
All right.
Here, we're going to go back to the menu. Okay, cool.
All right. So has A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, The Force Awakens, Acto Island, Rebels, Boba Fett, Han Solo, Darth Vader, Battle of Man, and Masters of the Force.
Masters of the Force, yeah. Yeah, so, the one disappointment, mainly because, and I don't even know if Zen has that table, but she played a real one, it was Phantom Menace, and she's like, oh, like, I think when I told you about this right away, you said, does it have a Phantom Menace table on it? I was like, I don't think it does. But we'll just have to live with that. Here's the question. Is there pinball pre-orders coming back? Well, I do believe that this is a successful hit for Arcade1up and Zen, so I'm sure they're ordering more. I don't think some of their units that they make are very, very seasonal, but I think their first run of these 3 cabinets were a lower one to kind of measure, the market. And then that's my understanding, and the plan is to order more. And How to Bachelor, thank you for the super chat and the donation. He says, because reasons. Whatever that means. Okay, more questions. We have, is it better than Pinball VR FX2 on Oculus Quest? That's a good question. Evelyn and I were just talking about, we have an Oculus Quest, but we haven't played the Pinball VR.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. And remember, Evelyn, when I told you that yesterday, you had an idea. Do you remember that idea?
I think it was like the one where you have a pinball machine, and then you put on a VR headset. You're in front of the pinball machine, and you're playing the pinball machine, but it's in VR.
Yeah, that was a cool idea. And I was thinking about it. I was like, almost like it's basically like a fake controller. That is a cool idea. But even wish we got to check that one out, definitely. Because what's your this is kind of funny. What's your favorite VR games?
Beat Saber.
Yeah. Yeah, Beat Saber's fun. We have a couple Star Wars ones too that you like, and then there's a free one that you really like, right?
Yeah, I like Echo VR. I haven't played that one in a while though, because there were other games to play.
Let's see. Gargan Rue, what's the take on the huge announcements that was supposed to come today? Hey, I think we're going to talk more about that on One Up Weekly tomorrow. I haven't really checked the forums to know exactly what everything that was released. I have received messages that some people were disappointed, hoping it would be more or bigger releases. I believe the idea is there's going to be a series of announcements over the next coming weeks, and this is part of it. And I also believe this is kind of just my Console Kit's take on it, based on conversations with people, that we're kind of entering a new world where Arcade1up wants to unveil more than just product announcements. Product announcements are big and exciting and basically what everyone loves to hear. One of the downsides of product announcement is you have to wait until the announcement is ready to hear it, right? It's like, hey, we have this new title, and those announcements have to be signed off by everyone. It means legal and everyone, it's approved, it's coming out. But I think what they're doing is they're now unveiling information earlier to kind of give you an understanding of their roadmap and their plan without officially saying it's coming. And doing that allows the community to put their input in it while they're developing. So we're probably going to hear more announcements about partnerships. Like, hey, we're partnering with different people. Like we just heard recently, they clearly are good friends with Mark Trammell, right? So the announcement could have been, just hypothetically speaking, imagine months from now you heard, we have NFL Blitz. Instead, what you heard is, hey, what if we did something like NFL Blitz, maybe? Hey, look, we got Mark on our side. Imagine what that would be like. And then, hey, let's listen to the community and see if they're interested and what formats they would like that in, what features they would like to see, and then kind of get some feedback and then deliver on what they believe the community wants based on kind of getting that earlier feedback. So there's a lot of upside to that. The downside is maybe it's not, you're not going to be as surprised, right? Because if you're listening to Arcade1up this close, you can kind of predict what's coming out, probably. So some of us are just really excited about the announcements, but I think there's going to be a lot of clues, is my guess. That's the strategy it looks like they're doing. That's my way to describe what I'm seeing. I hope that's helpful. Zohar says, I was going to buy it, but I need the food test. Tell her to put a plate of food and drinks on it. Then I'll buy it, and many people would too. Zohar's silly, right? Let's see. Question from Hollywood Polo. He says, Justin, are you getting the AtGames mini cabinet this Sunday with the Zachary Pinball packs? I was made aware of the AtGames mini cabinet. I thought about it. There was this like moment of temptation that arose, and is when I was reviewing the price, and it was like, hey, we're gonna have this special that for $299 or $300 you can get their miniature AtGames. That's like a Tetris. And I was like, ooh, that's priced. And then I was like, no, I don't think I want to get that because like, doesn't it need a riser? And then I learned, no, you don't need a riser. And I was like, oh. And then I saw the shipping was like $80, and then I was like, $380. I don't want it. I don't know. And then the other part was like, I don't know, Evelyn, if Arcade1up, listen closely, if Arcade1up came out with a Tetris cabinet, would you want that?
If it was a Tetris, yeah, I think Tetris
you like
is...
it? But see, okay, fine. Evidently my daughter, so AtGames is coming out with a Tetris, so you need to say the same answer, right? Because it doesn't really matter which company does it, right?
Well,
so
I just think Tetris is cool.
Tetris is cool, but and maybe you have an opinion on this, Evelyn. Maybe you can convince me to get the AtGames mini cabinet that has a Tetris as its leading title. For me, Tetris is a Game Boy game. It came in other formats. I never really played it in the arcade.
If the Tetris is good enough, you get it.
There you heard it. Tetris is a yes for my daughter. It's a no for me, though. Okay. Let's see. Tracer. Oh, that's right. So, Evelyn, did you know if you go into the menu, totally forgot about this, there's an option to have ball trailing turned on or off. And I didn't really notice what our setting was defaulted to. We'll have to take a look at that and see if...
How do you get to that?
I think it's in that, like when you're going in the game, you can kind of back up.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's when you're in. I think it's when you're in the game. So pick a game. There you go. So go into it, and then I think you press one of the buttons, not the table guide. Yeah, in there. Do you see like settings?
Let's see. I see ball trails.
Yeah. Is it on or off?
On.
Okay. Yeah, so you can play with that, the different versions, and let me know which one you like better.
Let me try off.
Zohar says, Evelyn, Mario Kart rematch with Justin? And Retro Ralph says, and this is true, Ralph called me, was that today? Ralph called me today and says, I will quit 1UP Weekly if you buy the Tetris cabinet. It was funny because he called, because I texted him and I was like, they almost got me with the $300 price shipped. I was like, that's kind of interesting, but I don't like the Tetris artwork. Like, this is honestly what I told Ralph. If you removed the logo from the Tetris AtGames cabinet, I wouldn't know it's Tetris. Like the color, the themes don't say Tetris to me. So I just, I don't know. It wasn't for me. I don't know. Maybe I just hate AtGames, and I don't know if that's true. I will tell you this, and Evelyn's here. Does Mom like the AtGames Legends Ultimate cabinet?
I don't know. I don't think she likes any arcade.
There you go. Anyway, that's true. But she let me put the play choice in my office, but she would not let me put the Legends Ultimate in my office. She said it was ugly. She said it was the ugliest cabinet that I have. So it's super discouraging when your wife is like, sure, you can put whatever cabinets you want in the basement. Oh, those cabinets are cool. Various cabinets are really cool. Oh, that Legends, you need to sell that one. That one's just ugly. That one's just really, really bad. And so Maybe all the AtGames hate is actually coming from my wife. That then goes to me, and then I tell Ralph how bad it is, and then Ralph says how bad it is. I think that's actually what it is. All right, so let's get to some more questions here. I'm looking for, let's see, do it Tetris good in VR also? Is it? Huh. Michael B says, hopefully we can get our pinball tables by the end of the month. I'm literally chomping at the bit to get it. Let's see. Zero Hill, the bigger problem that I have is where I'm gonna put it. Yeah, right now, as you can see, Evelyn's not in this room. So she's in the other basement room, which is a lot bigger than this room that I'm not really supposed to have cabinets in. But right now I do have cabinets in. But I'm going to try to lower that. In Stringer Films, Evelyn Stringer Films says, I just ordered Justin the Tetris cabinet. Okay. Question. Let's see. Justin, I'll host the One Up Weekly with you if Ralph quits. You got this. You got this. Thank you for the vote of confidence. Let's see. The Tetris artwork doesn't look right, and it's freaking Tetris. Okay. That's right, Brad. They're not using risers. That's what I from my understanding, and this information comes from Ralph, so I don't know where he got this information, but he said that the height of the Legends Mini is the same as the Legends Ultimate. You don't need a riser to have it the same height. You'd only need like a riser if you wanted it to be taller. But like it's it's not like a sit down, it's a stand-up cabinet out of the box. It's kind of funny, Ralph. I don't know if you're still there. He Ralph has a super chat. Where is it? It says, I literally hate AtGames. It's dumb. Well, there you go. That's Ralph just being honest. Thanks for the donation, man. So, about the AtGames Legends products, and this is a Star Wars video. I don't know why we're talking about AtGames all of a sudden, but what we're gonna say. So the interesting thing about dude, Ralph, I watched the our skit that we made a long time ago. And that skit was basically about the Legends Mini. It's so funny. What I mean is, if you go watch it, you got to go watch that again. It's on our One Up Weekly channel, and it's Ralph and I pretending to be, I'm pretending to be AtGames, and Ralph is pretending to be Walmart. And we're going back and forth, and I as AtGames is trying to sell Ralph as Walmart to get in the store. And Ralph as Walmart says to make it smaller, to make it like the smaller box. Basically, it's the Legends Mini that came out, announced recently, is what we're describing in that skit. Like, almost perfectly. So if you want to know what really happened, you watch that. Let's see. Okay. We got a couple more. Hey, Evelyn, you still there? You're there, right?
Yeah.
This is a super chat that came in. I'm asking you, and remember, just answer how you feel. Just because, we don't. There's a lot of people watching this video, and they're gonna decide whether they're gonna buy it or not. Some of them aren't, right? So we don't want to sell them on it like you need to buy this. You just tell them the truth, right?
All right.
Okay, you got that in your brain,
The truth
right?
is I'm a little bit busy right now.
Okay, the truth is... Okay, here's the question. How do you feel about the black sides, the bezels, and the blank area at the bottom of the unit?
I'm fine about it, I guess.
Okay. So I'll answer that. I was surprised how smaller the black bezel was at the bottom. All the pictures made me think it was going to be bigger. And so when I got it, I was like, that's it? Like, it's super minimal. Like, once you're in person, you're like... The problem is, like, I don't know, Evelyn, if you look at it, if they put the screen where that black bezel is, then your hands would kind of be on top of the screen. So maybe you could make it work. I don't know, but, like, it doesn't seem to bother me. And evidently it doesn't bother Evelyn.
Yeah.
Also, when you open that up, you can kind of see like that's where the plunger goes. So you could probably make it work, but it's like if they didn't have that, then the screen would have to be more flat, and then the plunger lower. I don't know. There's a couple things about it. So Zohar super chat. He says, please ask her. Here's your question, Evelyn. So how long before she returns it?
Never.
Okay. All right, let's see. I'm looking for question marks or super chats. Lewis says, has Evelyn ever played PS3 Tetris? It's the best version of it, in my opinion. It was
no.
Yeah. So we have a PSP, but we didn't have a ton of games for it. I think we got the PSP pretty late the PlayStation 3 pretty late in its cycle.
We have a PlayStation 3, but I never play on it because it's like there's stuff wrong with the controller, and then I just never played it.
What's your favorite PlayStation console, Evelyn?
PlayStation 2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's just good.
Yeah, it's really good. Let's see. Do you already have to be an AtGames owner to get their Sunday sales price? I don't know, Willie. Maybe not. Hopefully everybody could get it. I don't know. Stringer Film says, my plan is to have all the cabs I'll ever need before the wedding. That's pretty good. So Stringer Films, Matt is getting married. So he's gonna try to buy all his cabinets before the wedding. That's a funny joke, right? It says we need to rename the show the Justin and Evelyn Live. Retro Ralph with the super chat. What? I love to unscrew my monitor bezel and turn it. I'm going to do it all the time. So cool. Okay. Whatever that means. Maybe he's talking about some games madness or something. Let's see. Corey Smith asked Evelyn's favorite Arcade1up machine.
Well, Star Wars is good, but
you're talking about Star Wars Arcade, right?
I like the Star Wars Arcade1up, but I think I also I don't really know. I like most of them.
Remember recently we were talking about one I was thinking about selling, and you really didn't want me to sell it.
Rampage. Now, I don't usually play Rampage now, but whenever there was a party, Rampage was just a really good game.
Yeah. Basically, she has two cousins about her same age. So the three of them would play Rampage together. All three people can play. She really liked that. And we discussed about, we don't have a 4-player cabinet, but like maybe if a future 4-player cabinet comes out, maybe we would get that. And it's for that reason. It's like, so when her cousins come over, they'd have a game to play, all of them together at the same time. So let's see. Let's see if I'm in order. Wait, there's a few. Was this a November pre-order? Yes, this was a November pre-order. Douglas asks, how's the plunger?
It's good.
Mm-hmm. It's good. Let's see, looking for more question marks. Let's see. Can you turn the bumper noise off? I think so. I think in the settings, right? When you go into the settings, I think you can turn it off. So that's the solenoids can be turned on and off. We haven't. So we haven't tried that, but yesterday when I was playing, I had the volume up, not super loud, but not quiet by any means. And there's a really good level where the music is just, you're just completely, like, what's the right word? Like surrounded by stereos, Star Wars music. That's great. And the bumpers, as you called them, are at a really nice level that they're not loud. It's like the music kind of drowns them out, and it's all at a good level. So I think it's optimized. The level of sound that emits from the solenoid is optimized for that music volume to be at average. And then it's a really good mix. In other words, if you turn up the music really loud, you probably won't hear the solenoids. Right now, the music is off, and all you can hear is the solenoids. But that's just because we're live, and I think Evelyn's trying to make sure she can hear me and stuff. Because if she turns the music up, like, you can get to a level, like the comfortable level is kind of like you can't really hear anything else in the room. I don't know. This is the first Arcade1up machine where I really like the music, the whole thing to be like loud. Most of the times I have my arcades like kind of on a lower volume. But the pinball, I love playing it like at a higher volume.
I've played I've played all the games now.
Yeah?
And I think Empire Strikes Back is still right now my favorite.
Cool. I'm looking forward to like trying, like, learning more about the tables and getting deeper into the tables. I'm wondering if our favorite will, because that's my favorite too right now. It's the most exciting to play. It seems super exciting.
Yeah.
But maybe as we learn the game tables, we learn how to unlock certain levels, a different one will become more exciting. Be cool.
I think not right now, but I think Masters of the Force would be a good one. Like,
yeah.
Once you know how to do it.
Cool. So we got another super chat. It says, it's Bones McCoy. He says, Ralph's been showing some love for the Legends Connect. Where's this hate coming from all of a sudden? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Retro Ralph says, I'm going to partner with that one YouTuber and smash and burn the AtGames Tetris cabinet on a live stream for no reason. Wow. Ralph is getting angry. Let's see, I'm looking for more questions. Someone did mention... let's see. Zohar says, I'll give her a week. He's saying you'll be bored with this in a week. Maybe. You think you'll be bored with it in a week?
Well, if I play it every day for a week, maybe.
Maybe. What if you played VR every day for a week? Would you be bored with that?
No, because I'm currently like just stuck on. I have stuff that I can do. Bored is just like if you don't have anything.
I see.
I have lots of stuff on VR that I want to do.
That's interesting.
I need to work on my Star Wars game.
Yeah. So let's see. Some of the questions for me, it says, any chance this and Marvel are going to get restocked? I think so. I believe, and it is something that, but I mean, I can't predict the future, but I do remember John saying, and what's his name? The guy from Zen, he was saying how they hit their numbers really fast, really well. It was success, which is going to drive more orders and more pre-orders. But I don't work for AtGames. I'm sorry, I don't work for Arcade1up, so I don't know. Who knows? But that's my guess. Justin, what future VR games are the most looking forward to? Right now we haven't been looking at VR games. We have a good number of VR games that we've been playing. Yeah, someone did mention about the Zen Pinball VR. Evelyn and I were talking about there being like a Mandalorian Zen Pinball, and we're kind of hoping that comes in a format that is on something that we use regularly, whether it's Switch or VR. I can't imagine them doing a patch update to this Star Wars Pinball to give us Mandalorian. I think that would happen, but that'll be fun. Yeah. Hey, let me know if there's any titles for VR that you're excited about. They don't have, the Oculus Quest doesn't have like a billion games. And I get emails from the Oculus Quest saying, hey, we got some more games, but not a lot of them have been something that I want to go out and buy. A buddy of mine recently got one, and he said that he played like some of those job simulators, and he said those were fun, but I haven't tried them yet.
I've seen videos about those like job simulators.
Mm-hmm.
That they would be cool to play.
So there is a question. Yeah, that would be cool. So Evelyn, do you see the screen that's straightened? There's two screens on the Arcade1up. The one you're looking at to play the game, but you see the other one below the marquee?
Yeah.
So they call that a dot matrix display. The screen is really an LCD, but back in the day, screens actually looked like that, right? And so Lacrosse asked, how is the dot matrix or the DMD? What is the impact on the gameplay? So do you understand how to answer that question?
Well, I don't really look at it a lot, but I do look at it like when I get something. Right now it's telling me to launch the ball. And it's not exactly important to me, but it's cool to just like look at it every now and then. You see cool scenes.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to answer it, assuming Lacrosse is not familiar with, this exact pinball. That's what I've also noticed is you'll play the game, and when you have no ball, your reaction is to look at the DMD screen and go, what's going on? And it tells you what to do. And
or like if you get something.
Yes. Yeah, all of a sudden you like Evelyn, she's like, maybe trying to go for the Vader hole or whatever it is, and she accomplishes it, and it starts making sights and sounds. You'll see the DMD screen kind of move around, and it starts saying things. You can read it, and it kind of describes what's going on. And that's your reaction is to look at that. So that's pretty cool. It's not like you're staring at it while you're trying to use the flippers. Maybe that's a way to describe it. And there's some super chats that I'm not going to read. Zohar says, ask if the glass is hot. Can she boil an egg on it?
It's not that hot.
Does it have some heat?
Yeah, I can feel like slight heat, but it's not that hot.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Trying to see. Oh, there's another question. Justin, will you buy the Pinball FX4 if it's Epic Store exclusive only? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Let's see. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. Ralph keeps on super chatting, and I'm not reading it, and I think he's getting mad that I'm not reading it. Here's one. Is it? Let's see. Did you and Ralph see the Steve Aoki? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Street Fighter 2 Countercade. Is that Arcade1up's big announcement? Maybe you already discussed. Got here late. I think we're going to discuss that more on the 1UP Weekly tomorrow. Thank you for the donation. Really appreciate that. I know that's one of the announcements. I think there's a few more announcements. I think there's even more announcements to come. And I described this earlier, but I'll describe it again for the crew that's here now. My quick understanding, my way to describe it, this is probably not what you'd hear from Ralph. He probably has a different thought. Maybe even Arcade1up would express it differently. But the way I would express it is I think you're going to start seeing different types of announcements from Arcade1up. They're trying to kind of give you a clue of what they're working on earlier. So up to this point, people have been really excited about product announcements. But the reason why product announcements are so awesome is They keep them a secret until the day it's all approved and ready to order, and you just find out. The downside of that is when they do that, you either like it or you don't. You had no input in the process. You probably had very little input in the process. You're either going to order it or you won't. And I think the feedback they got some from people is if they kind of give a clue of what they're working on beforehand, the community can kind of drive how the product will turn out. But since they don't have official license for these things yet, or maybe they have the license, but they don't have like everyone sign off on it, they can't do a marketing product announcement. They don't want to leak it. So they're just like, hey, we'll just like explain we have these partnerships. And I think that's kind of why they're like Mark Turmel. They're explaining they're having the Mark Turmel on the 1UP Weekly. We had that for the Super Bowl to be like, hey, here's a guy that like built a whole bunch of games back in the day. He's the pioneer. He's the one that has the source code. He's the one that has the way to like, you know, manipulate these games to have different settings because he can still work on them, right? So he's obviously friendly with us. So imagine what we can do in the future. Then the community can start saying, you should do this, you should do this, and we'd like it in this format. We'd like it in that format. They can listen to that and then give the customers what they want. I think that's what they're trying to do. And so I think today's announcement's a little bit of like, maybe some people were bummered because they were thinking it was going to be like huge, big product announcements, but it's more like announcements about partnerships because you get to hear about them early. And I think there was one product like the Street Fighter is technically a product that you can get soon. It's kind of funny because my honest reaction of that is like, yeah, I saw on the forum that there was going to be a big announcement. So maybe people are disappointed about it because they're like, it's big. Wait, it wasn't big. But like that Street Fighter is really cool. Because when we were at CES, there was this idea of like, what if you're going to link two Street Fighters together? You can play one-on-one. And Evelyn, I don't think you've seen this yet, but they made a countercade that's Street Fighter, but it does have two control panels and the two joysticks. And the control panel kind of expands outside of the countercade. And it's, I don't know, I think some people will like that. So it's something different. It's their first horizontal countercade. So that's cool. That means, you know, all the games are, you know, like 4x3, like instead of a vertical game, it's a horizontal game. So, and it's going to have Final Fight and a couple Street Fighter games on it. So that's cool. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. Let's see. Sean Watson says, would you consider upgrading to a bigger monitor, say 27-inch, using the Geekworm board, or is 24-inch good for you? For me, 24-inch is good. Going to a 27, I think, would come with compromises. I think it would lay flat. And I like everything about how this unit worked. If Arcade1up engineered a larger one, Evelyn's interested in the 32-inch. The thing is she, you said earlier, like, you love the idea of, like, you don't mind if it took up more room, right? It would be cool to have, like, a full-size pinball is what you said.
I would want full size.
So here's the thing. And we talked about this before, Evelyn. So there are other pinball machines on the market. There's an AtGames Legends Ultimate. And I told you about it. I was like, hey, this one's 32-inch, but it doesn't have Star Wars. So we made the decision to get the Star Wars one.
It's the Star Wars I want.
Right. So I think in general, what she's saying is she really loves the Star Wars. That's the game set that she picked. She's excited about that. This was the only form factor it came in. If they had a better one, quote unquote, better one, she'd probably want the better one, whatever that better one is. And so, like, I could probably ask Evelyn, imagine if they made a 60-inch pinball machine and it's Star Wars. Would you want that one? It's going to be better.
Yes.
See? Then they're going to come out with a Star Wars pinball machine that's not as good as this one. Would you want that one?
In what way is it not as good?
See? If it has Star Wars on it, she just wants it. I don't know. I was just making it up, Evelyn. I don't know. Let's hypothetically imagine they made a tabletop version of this. And instead of it being 24-inch, it's like, I don't know, 12-inch or something like that. It's just something you can play on your table, but it's still all the same pinball games. But it's like $200. Should we save up money for that? Are you still thinking, Evelyn?
What?
Yeah, I would say, what if they got a 12-inch tabletop version of pinball? Would you want to buy that one of Star Wars?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would put it up in my room.
There you go. That's good. Okay. All right. Thanks, Evelyn. I think she's reading. She's trying to learn how these games work.
I was just reading a bit, seeing how it works.
Yeah.
There was a lot of reading.
Understood.
So I'm not going to read it all.
Okay, I'm going to read some of the chats. You continue to play, all right? So, answer the question in the DMD used as a mini game or gameplay device on any of the tables. Is the DMD? I don't know. I haven't so far. What I've seen is I haven't gone to a game where the DMD is used for actual gameplay. If that's what you're saying, it seems to always be show your score, describe what the game is. Like you just hit this level of the game, and then you'll see Darth Vader's face, and you'll hear his voice, and there's some animations that are happening simultaneously, and then in the DMD it describes what you should do now. It's like pick your scene, so it's kind of instructing you to do something that you need to do before the game can proceed. So far, that's all I've seen. Let's see. So we are running an hour. Let's see if I'm going to try to answer a few more questions. Let's see. How can Ralph afford all of these super chats? Is he laundering the channel's funds? That's kind of funny. Let's see. I think it's very ugly looking countercade. So Zohar's talking about the Street Fighter looks kind of ugly. And do you think they'll release the Universal Pinball? I would pull the trigger on that one. I don't really know. We did see the leaks, right? And the Universal Pinball was another one of the potential potential pinballs. I don't know if they would release it because would it only have 3 games on it, or does Universal maybe I don't know, maybe Universal does have a good pack of 10 games. So some of my information about Zen, I didn't have prior to Arcade1up. It wasn't buying Zen games, and then when Arcade1up announced their partnership, I prevented myself from learning too much. It was almost like, like if there's a movie that there's spoilers out there for, and sometimes you choose to read those spoilers. This time I didn't, because I wanted to experience the pinball machine without spoilers, you might say. So I'm not familiar with the Zen titles. Yeah, maybe that would be the logical next step. But then there's other things like, that's it. It's not Disney, right? So Universal Pinball, it's Comcast and Universal, right? So they'd have to, work with them to secure that IP. But maybe Zen's already got the, contact and all of that to make that happen, so they can leverage that. I think we did that one already. Since we're spending your money, Justin, what about VR pin with all the Star Wars games on it? Yeah, that would be really cool. I love VR, and but this physical machine is also really cool too. And we were talking about that. Like, now that we have this physical machine, I told my daughter, like, maybe we'll get some of these games on VR. Maybe we'll get some of these games on Switch. We can practice on Switch. We can play on the pinball. As also, like, if eventually we have family over, like, they're not going to be playing it. Well, maybe they'll play on VR, but I don't think Switch right now. Switch is not really a console that's like a party console so far when people come over. But this would be. And see if there's any more questions. Did it come damaged? If not, can she damage it? It didn't come damaged, but I do. Do you see her? Hey, Evelyn, do you see at the very bottom of the unit, it looks like there's a speck of dirt?
Yes, there is. I noticed it.
Yeah, when this is one thing that I said earlier in the show, like the screen is flawless and it does look really good. But when I started playing it today, I noticed that on our unit, there's a speck of dirt underneath the screen. I think I can get that off with a little bit of canned air. But it is right. Like did you notice it yesterday?
I don't know.
I didn't
noticed it.
Yeah. I didn't notice it yesterday, but it's on the bottom side of it, but I don't think it's an imperfection or anything like that. It's just literally a tiny piece of dirt we can blow out.
Yeah.
Also, you can unscrew. I don't know you know about this, Evelyn, but the chrome railing. There's just a couple screws, and you remove those, and that entire plexiglass can come out. We can probably just wipe that. We're good. I don't even think it actually needs any additional wiping. We just got to get that one little speck out, and then we're good. Evelyn, we do have a question. How is the glare on the glass? Do you know what that is? Like, I noticed that depending on what level screen you're on, you can kind of see the reflection of the marquee a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying not to lead you.
Yeah, you kind of, but if you're focused on the game, you ignore it.
Yeah.
I just noticed now that there is a reflection, but
yeah, you can even kind of see it in the video right now. It's funny because I noticed that too. It's like there's things that you're noticing when you're not playing if you look for them. But while you're playing, some of those things you won't notice. And for me, that's the thing I noticed. It's like when the unit just turns on, the marquee lights up, but there's literally nothing on the screen for like 20 or 30 seconds. And you can see crazy glare because there's absolutely nothing on the screen and there's a light up marquee. And then once it illuminates and you have the actual, play field or you can play the game or anything like that. If you're looking really closely, you can see some glare. But the moment you're like in the game, I don't notice the glare at all. Because you're like your eyes are like focused on the ball and be under the glare, and it doesn't seem to be distracting at all. Let's see. Hope that helps you, JJ. Yeah, Brad says, I think you could put real glass on the table if you wanted to. I think you're right. I don't think I need to. I'm surprised, like I said earlier, I'm surprised at how well the plexiglass actually is on my unit. It doesn't look like any other Arcade1up plexiglass. Like it's probably made from a different company or something. It's a different quality. It's much better. I hope everyone gets the same experience that I did on that plexiglass. Earlier, I was thinking that on this pinball machine, if I wanted glass, my plan was to take the plexiglass to a place like Home Depot and say, hey, I want you to cut a good piece of glass that is for a pinball machine. So is there a special type that would be better for that? And cut it to this exact size. And my guess is that would be inexpensive, and I could bring it back, set it down, boom, we have a glass top. I don't know if I need that now, because the moment I started playing it, I was like, wow, this looks great. Like way better than I thought it was going to be. The glass, like I said, I called Ralph earlier thinking it might be glass, because I was driving and I was calling him and I left a message and I was like, I think they may have replaced it with glass, because my memory was like, man, it was so great. And then when I came home and felt it, I'm like, no, it's still plexiglass because it has like some bend to it. I think it's just better quality. Zohar says, best way to remove speck of dirt is with a hammer. Zohar with the funny jokes. All right, so we're so Keith says, how long ago did you get charged for this? Ordered in November, but still haven't been charged. So I received this yesterday, the 10th. So I got charged on the 8th. But I think I'm close. I think I'm within 2 days of their shipping center. So my guess is if you get charged, you're going to receive the unit within a handful of business days. And I will say, when this became available on GameStop, someone messaged me like super early on, and I made the order really early in the morning, I may have been a very, very quick early order. I don't know if they're sending them out in the exact order of the order number or anything like that, but somehow, I got lucky and I got. So Damon asks, where did your ship from? So I'm gonna, maybe I'll pin a comment to this video. You can come back and look. I'll tell you what I know is some people are saying like they have a shipping center in Minnesota and I live in Iowa. And I was like, oh, that must be why I got it soon. But then when I looked at the shipping label, it said it came from Texas. But then I read someone on the forum that lives in Texas and says theirs shipped like the same time as mine and they didn't receive theirs yet. So I'm wondering if I need to look at the tracking number. I'm going to look at it, see if I can get the tracking number and see where it shipped from. Because I'm wondering if maybe it was shipped from Texas, but maybe it's just the return address is Texas. And, it actually shipped from somewhere else. And Zohar says it was shipped from the Death Star. So King Midas says, same Justin, ordered day one. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. One thing for sure, some people are saying like I got special treatment because I make videos about Arcade1up. This is just impossible because I ordered this from GameStop and Arcade1up doesn't even know my last name. Like they literally think my name's Justin Console Kits. So there's no way that they could like connect the dots to, hey, that's that order. That must be Justin. Let's get it to him early. That didn't happen. So first of all, of course, Arcade1up doesn't have access to GameStop customer information. Right? There's no way they can persuade them to show it. DJ, right? Yes, they did. Whatever. Hey, Nick said, great job, Evelyn and Justin, for a fun video. Yeah, TJ is like, see, this is what happened. So Arcade1up found out that I made the order. And then they messaged GameStop and said, you need to send it to him just slightly earlier than everybody else. Just slightly. Like 3 days before the rest of the world gets it. That way he can go on YouTube and talk about it just a little bit more. But we're not going to send him a free unit. We're not going to make sure he gets one direct from us. No, we'll do that for Ralph and Cool Toy. But Justin, we're going to do this like slightly. He gets it slightly before everyone else on the pre-order while they're sold out. So there's absolutely no marketing advantage for Arcade1up to do that because they're already sold out. That's what happened. Anyway, Shotgun says, so wait, your name isn't Justin Console Kits? So Evelyn, I don't know if you understand this joke, but Hammerhead, I don't know. Do you remember I was talking about how Ralph and I saw that there's another YouTuber that made a video about the pinball machine, and then he had a picture of a cat was sleeping on the pinball. I don't know if you heard that story.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, Hammerhead Fred says, will you be using this to place your cat bed and your cat on top of your pinball machine? Do you think Tiger would sleep on this pinball machine?
If she found it.
Yeah, I bet she would, right? That cat will sleep on anything, though. All right, guys, so thank you so much for the Justin and Evelyn review of the Star Wars Pinball. If you're watching this on the replay and we didn't get any of your questions answered, please comment down below and you can ask your question. I'll try to answer it for you. That was the whole point of this entire live stream. Was I know there's a lot of people that are really excited about this pinball machine, and maybe they haven't received theirs yet, and they want to know more information about it. I was hoping I could answer those questions for you. Just thought I would have a fun review. I'll do an update video at some time. I kind of want to get more on the technical side, like how much lag there actually is. I'm really curious about it. I'm curious what CPU they're using on this one. Is this the same as what they're using on Buck Hunter? Is it different? A couple different things like that. So thanks everyone for joining and hanging out. Hope you had a fun time on this kind of live Q&A, first impressions. And Evelyn, you wanna? What are we supposed to say at the end of the videos? We'll see you on the next one.
one.
All right. Take care.